Hi guys, welcome back to Middle Earth. We've got The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Just got back from seeing it this morning. It has definitely ended this trilogy on a fitting way. You could say full metal, literally. Straight into it with Smog attacking Lake Town. We all wanted at the end of the last movie, as he was flying away, we knew that the credits were going to roll. So we basically pick up straight after that. It's a fantastic sequence, fire and brimstone. But as a result, it changes the dynamics from the previous films, even the Lord of the Rings films, how they've always started with a prelude before the opening titles for that movie. Usually it's a type of flashback, either a big voiceover thing, or like in the case of the last Lord of the Rings film, like the Andy Serkis Gollum scene in the river, like that sort of thing. Even the last Hobbit movie, we had that prancing pony, we had Gandalf and Thorin having the conversation about the journey. In this case, we haven't got that, and they've just gone straight into it from the second movie. I think partly as a result of probably splitting the movies. That's something I'll come back to probably a little bit later. For a start, you'll have to witness this on a big screen. It's no point, especially if you watch these films on occasion, you might watch it on a Blu-ray or get it out on demand or something. You've got to watch these on a big screen just so you can absorb it all. It's just beautifully visual art in my opinion. Also, not just the visuals itself, but the performances of the actors. They're playing big characters. They're playing fantasy characters. There's scenes in this movie, there's magical elements going on which add an intensity and also just a little bit of awe and wonder. Also, I think as a result of splitting the film from 2 movies to 3 movies may have left this as a standalone movie standing a little bit short on story. It does feel like it's basically the third act, which it is, but a third act of wrapping up everyone's storylines, final conflicts, and that essentially this movie is, well, it's called The Battle of the Five Armies. What are you going to expect? It is literally pretty much a battle the whole movie. But from time to time, you did get a chance to have a breather and have more of a character moments, and which were very good, especially Thorin Oakenshield. They did definitely build that character up over all 3 movies. Finally, we get to see some real grit from the character, some real intensity, which is very appreciated on my part anyway. It's good to see some duality in a character, especially when you've seen them for a couple of movies and they're pretty much on the same arc. They haven't really, not much has really happened, but it really sort of pays off here. As well as in the last movie, we got Toriel's little love story with Clee, I think it is, or Flea, one of the boys, and that gets tidied up quite nicely too. And the elves really did get a bit of attention here, which was quite nice. I also felt that the ending was quite appropriate for this movie. Not quite as regal as large Return of the King, but you wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't expect that from this. Essentially, it's the bridging movie between the trilogies, and it's done what it's supposed to do. It's sort of paid off the original old characters with the new. Also thought it was interesting what they did here at the end of the film with Legolas. They sort of were hinting at this love triangle thing. It never really got to that point. Legolas did seem to be a little bit of a third wheel, but he was always there for the whole movie in support of Toriel, and that they sort of set him up to be a quite important character going forward. And go back now and probably watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it probably doesn't quite fit. The way they sort of finished it here is they introduce Strider and all these sort of things. It makes it seem like Legolas is going to be a big character, a very important character going forward, and he is important in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but not quite probably as important and grand it's been set up here, which was a little bit odd. It's probably to give him Legolas a little bit more cachet, I'd say. The other thing I'll just mention just quickly was at the start of this was a 10-minute segment. I'm not sure if it only aired here in New Zealand or it could possibly be all around the world, but basically on the making of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the history of it being filmed in New Zealand. And it was essentially just a thank you letter to people in New Zealand and the industry. I always had actors and cast and all sorts of things saying things about very positive things, of course, about New Zealand and all that sort of thing. It was nice. It probably didn't. Probably didn't need to have it. I'd suggest it'll be sitting on the Blu-ray when it comes out next year. Just to sum up, I enjoyed this very much. Again, I felt like it did feel like part 3. It didn't feel like a single movie. I think if you went into it not seeing a Lord of the Rings movie before, you'd be completely lost. You'd be in for a great spectacle, but I don't think you'd have a clue what's going on in it. At the end of the day, most people who are going to go see this are people who have already seen the previous film. So I'll give it a solid rating of 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. Like I've said earlier, as a result of splitting the movies, it's probably hurt it a little bit. I think that it probably should have still only been 2 movies. I think they could have had 2 really slick, high-paced, high-intensity 3-hour movies. But I'm not going to complain that I got 3 Hobbit movies. That's my thoughts on The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. No spoilers here, of course, so go see the movie. Alright guys, catch you later.